The bitter wind swept through the narrow streets of Westbrook, a small, sleepy town far from the bright lights of the city. Clara Daniels wrapped her worn scarf tighter around her neck as she trudged down the street, her thin jacket offering little protection against the chill. Another long night at Maddie's Diner, a cozy little spot with retro booths and vintage jukebox music, where Clara had worked for 3 years. The neon sign flickered softly, and the smell of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon permeated the air. Clara had been barely making ends meet, working double shifts to cover her mother's mounting medical bills. She had always worked hard, but no matter how many hours she put in, the debt was overwhelming. Despite her own struggles, Clara remained kind, never turning away anyone in need, even when her own stomach growled from hunger. She had learned from her mother that true generosity wasn't about how much you had, it was about how much you were willing to give. That night, just before closing, the diner door creaked open, and in stepped a woman wrapped in a tattered gray shawl. She appeared worn down, her face tired and her hands trembling slightly as she clutched the fabric. She looked around cautiously, unsure of where she belonged. Most customers would have ignored her, maybe even asked her to leave. But Clara saw something different in her eyes: pain, loneliness, and a silent plea for warmth. Clara walked over, her voice gentle as she said, "Ma'am, can I get you something warm to drink?" The woman hesitated, her voice small and fragile. I don't have any money," she admitted, glancing down at her worn shoes. Clara didn't even blink. "That's okay. A cup of coffee's on me," she said, giving the woman a reassuring smile. The woman looked up, surprise flickering in her tired eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. Clara quickly poured the coffee, her mind briefly drifting to her own struggles. She had just enough to make it through the week, but something about this woman made her want to help. She placed the steaming cup in front of her and grabbed a plate of scrambled eggs, toast, and a small bowl of soup. "Here, eat up," Clara said with a warm smile. The woman's eyes welled with tears. "You don't have to do this," she murmured. "I know," Clara replied softly, "but everyone deserves a little kindness." The woman began eating slowly, savoring every bite as if she hadn't had a meal in days. Clara went back to serving the last customers and wiping down the tables, but her thoughts kept drifting back to the woman. When she finished, she looked up at Clara with gratitude in her eyes. "What's your name?" she asked softly. "Clara," she replied. "You have a good heart, Clara," the woman said. "Why are you working so late?" Clara sighed, leaning against the counter. "My mom's in the hospital. Medical bills keep piling up, and I'm doing everything I can to keep up. But enough about me. What about you? Do you have a place to stay?" The woman hesitated, then shook her head. "Not really, but I'll manage." Clara frowned. She wanted to do more, but what could she do? She reached into her pocket and pulled out the last $20 bill she had. "Here," she said, pressing it gently into the woman's hand. "It's not much, but maybe it'll help you find a warm place for the night." The woman stared at Clara, stunned. "Clara, you need this money more than I do." Clara shrugged. "I'll be okay. You need it more." Tears rolled down the woman's cheeks, and for a moment, she was speechless. Then, she gave Clara a soft smile. "You have no idea what this means to me." The next morning, Clara arrived at the diner exhausted but ready for another long shift. As she tied her apron, a sleek black car pulled up outside. A chauffeur stepped out and opened the door, and to Clara's shock, the homeless woman from the night before emerged. But this time, she looked completely different. The tattered shawl was gone, replaced by an elegant coat. Her unkempt hair was neatly styled, and she held herself with the grace of someone in charge. Clara's jaw nearly dropped. What's going on?" Clara muttered, her mind racing. The woman smiled warmly, her voice familiar. "Clara, my name is Eleanor Carter," she said. "I'm the CEO of Carter Enterprises." Clara's heart skipped a beat. "Carter Enterprises?" That was one of the most influential companies in the country. Eleanor continued, "Last night, I wasn't just looking for food. I was looking for something far more important. Kindness. I do this sometimes, disguise myself to see how people treat those in need. And you, Clara, passed the test with flying colors." Clara's mind reeled. I was just doing what anyone should do." Eleanor shook her head. "No, not everyone would have done what you did. You gave me food when you had barely enough for yourself. You gave me money when you needed it more. That kind of generosity is rare." Eleanor reached into her bag and pulled out an envelope. "Inside is a check for $100,000, she said. "It's not charity, Clara. It's a reward for your heart. Use it for your mother's bills, your future. And if you ever need a job, there's a place for you at my company." Clara's breath caught in her throat. I can't accept this." "You can," Eleanor said firmly. "And you must." Tears burned Clara's eyes. She had spent so many years struggling, believing the world was cold and indifferent. But today, kindness had come full circle. That night, Clara went to the hospital and paid off her mother's medical bills in full. She secured a new home for them, ensuring her mother had everything she needed to recover. But more than that, Clara never stopped being kind. Months later, Clara joined Carter Enterprises not just as an employee, but as someone who believed in the power of generosity. Every week, she went back to Maddie's diner, not because she needed the work, but because she never wanted to forget where she came from. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can lead to the greatest miracles. In a world where everyone is rushing, struggling, and focused on their own battles, kindness is the one thing that can truly change lives. Clara's story is a powerful reminder that kindness can change lives, sometimes in ways we can't even imagine. If this touched your heart, don't miss out on more stories that inspire, uplift, and remind us all of the power of generosity. Subscribe to our channel and join our community of kindness, where every act, no matter how small, has the potential to create a ripple of change. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more heartwarming moments.